Training, I would do a off-season update. Where am I at? So initially what we did was we did a 16 to 17 week slow reverse diet that enabled me to make sure that I was pushing myself above my, finding a new maintenance weight. And I think that I've done this enough times and I've been in the industry enough times to know that when you keep pushing body weight, there is so much body fat that's going to accumulate, and that is not the goal for me. I'm a very, very petite individual. So to put things in perspective, in November of last year, I was obviously back end of prep. I was 53, 54, 55 kilos. And I'm 5'7.5". So I have a lot of growing to do. I could sit there and I could lie and say, oh, right, yeah, I've got a lot of muscle. No, I need to build a lot of muscle. And I've been doing this a very, very long time. So I've been in the gym for 14 or 15 years. And if you haven't watched that video, how I started my fitness journey, then go and watch it. But it kind of gives you an insight to my fitness journey wasn't necessarily, oh, I came in to do this. I actually started because I have an autoimmune disease. And I was overweight. I was 119 kilos at my heaviest. So it's not like I was new to this game. I know that, bodybuilding and putting on muscle is something that takes time and takes dedication. So I thought I would give you an insight to where I am. So I've got all my stats here so I can actually tell you where I'm at, where's my food at. So when I am in my off season, I do know how many calories I'm on. You've got to remember something. Now I'm sharing these, but everyone's calorie needs is different. And what works for me isn't necessarily going to work for you. This is what works for my body. So I have to preface that in saying that. You can copy cookie cutter someone's diet, but it's not the same. So on a leg day, which is a high day, I'm on 184 protein, 415 carb and 67 fat, which lands me 2999, which is 3,000 calories, which puts me in a little surplus. And then on an upper body day or a rest day, I'm on 2673 calories, so 174 protein, 339 carb and 69 fat. Is this the most amount of food I've ever eaten? No. If you go back to 2023, I think it was, you could have clearly seen how much food I had to eat. And would I say that's the most productive? No, it was fun. It was fun being 4,500 calories, but at the same time, it was very much a case of I was just almost setting myself up for a, unnecessarily amount of accumulation of body fat. So that's something that I definitely learned that way, which was it isn't necessarily all about food. And that's something that I have to relay, that I've done this enough times. Now, what did I learn through this 8-week push-up? We were really focusing, well, it's more than that actually, it's probably more like 20 weeks, but I am trying to build as much muscle as possible. It is clearly evident that I need to grow everywhere still. So I have a lot of room to fill. I have a lot of mass to fill out. I'm a taller person, therefore I need to gain a lot of muscle. Am I afraid to take 18 months, 2 years to grow? No, I've done it before and I'll keep doing it. Now, what seems to be my personal issue is holding on to that muscle. So doing a constructive, productive off season, I'd like to always think I'm learning every time. So this off season, we have a big emphasis on training. So that's why I'm overlaying all this training, because every time I max a rep range, meaning that if my rep range is 12 to 15 and I've hit 15 reps, I film and then send to my coach. There are certain movements that I will film every single week, like a barbell RDL, just to make sure that my form is 10-10. This is where you can utilize online coaching, because your coach is there to review your footage. So they aren't necessarily training you. You have to make sure that you are assessing your own footage, but also sending it through to your coach to make sure that they can be assessing it too. Now, how am I feeling? The first 4 to 6 weeks, I felt heavy. I felt like I'd been maintaining at 57 to 59 kilos for a while. And as soon as I hit the 60s, I was like, I felt it. But now my body's settled. I definitely feel like I'm the fittest I've ever been. I am the strongest I've arguably ever been with good form. I'm really focusing on that time under tension, that execution. 1 second, let me change my battery pack. There we go. Change the battery pack. Better than ever. As I was saying, it has been a really, really big push. Now, as a female, do we enjoy gaining weight? I would say 70-80% of women, we're good dieters. Put us into a muscle building phase, we get to a point where we want to be lean. But if you want to see drastic changes in your physique, this is where you need to be in a calorie surplus, which is 100 to 200 calories above your maintenance for an extensive amount of time. If you really want to maximize your progress, you really need to dial in on all of the elements to make sure that you're maximizing the most amount of muscle that you can build. Now, how am I doing that? I am really focusing on my technique in the gym. I'm filming sets even when I don't have time. Now, these are my areas for improvement, but I'm still improving on them. Stress management. Yes, we focus on stress management. It could be meditation, it could be reading. But when I have more energy to give, I can also feel like I work more, but also taking that time out to make sure that I can be focusing on that rest, recovery, but also utilizing my rest days. So making sure that if I was to give you tips, number one, it would be eating in a calorie surplus. Number two, do not get scared of the scale. Some weeks you're going to be gaining, for example, 0.5 kilo a week. Some weeks you won't see your weight increase. That is what your coach is there for, to review your visuals. And I always go off visuals. There's sometimes I don't want to check in. There's sometimes I look at my check-in photos and I think, oh my gosh. But I've got into the habit now where thinking I'm appreciating my body for how much it does. I'm appreciating my body for hormonally being in an amazing place, but also being strong enough for myself in the gym. So tip number one, calorie surplus. Tip number two, stress management. Tip number three, making sure that you are focusing on your sleep. Now, I know that when the darker months come, my body naturally wants to sleep more, and trying to get into bed earlier. I'm naturally an early riser, but to have a little bit more sleep is so important. Fact is, you put your body under strain in the gym, but outside of the gym is where you recover. So if you do not let your body recover, you are not going to grow. You need to sleep to be able to recover. So I know, for example, with myself, this is why I decided to document this week. For the last 3 weeks, I've been fighting this feeling of not wanting to be in the gym, and that's very unlike me. When you train to absolute failure, to every set, to every rep, to every exercise for the best part of 10 to 12 weeks, my body has taken a toll. I'd arguably say I'm training harder than I ever have in my life. And I've unlocked a different type of feeling realm in my brain, which is something that I've never felt before. So now, I'll get into this with my update, but after the tips, but that's something that sleep is imperative to make sure that you can be maximizing your progress. Tip number 4, quality of foods. Now, I am a big advocate of a whole food diet, meaning single ingredients where possible. But throw it back 3-4 years, I was doing dirty bulk cereals, whatever I could really eat. But the quality of food does matter for my physique personally. I see a massive correlation with my digestion, the way I'm feeling. Everything just feels better when I'm eating that whole food diet. So I incorporate and encourage, even when you are bulking in a surplus, that you do take on a whole foods diet, because it will make you feel cognitively better, but also physically better. Tip number 5, and learn from my mistakes. Do not just go into the gym and slam weight around. Now, I said focus on your training, but let's get really specific here. I have no issue with getting strong, but getting strong accurately can really target the muscle. I can move weight A to B. I am not afraid of weight. I'm a different breed, but I know that I have to have intention. And this is where I've asked for help. I've asked for help from a trainer once a month for upper body, because my upper body does struggle to grow. it is my lagging body part, the whole of my upper body, my whole of my anterior basically. But I know that I can ask for help and ask for others' guidance that I do need that little bit of help with. So once a month, checking my form, checking my execution, checking my everything when it comes to upper body alongside the videos is really going to help me maximize my growth within this period. So what's next for me? I spoke to coach last week and he is deloading me as of the end of this week. So that means that I'm out of the gym, no cardio, nothing for 3 days. Then I'll go in and train one session at, am I saying that right? D-volume? At D-volume. And then I'll be doing my training set, the last 3 training sessions of the week, but they'll be at reduced volume. So I will not be hitting failure, 1 to 2 reps in reserve, getting the body moving, getting the body fresh. The last time I did this was July, and I'd actually documented that in Mauritius in my vlog. And I felt a lot better after, and I've almost lost that fire. And that's the first indication for me that I don't want to be in the gym, and I always want to be in the gym. The gym is my saving grace, my mental release, my happy place. But when I start to feel those early warning signs, which I'll get into, that was to me was like, oh, I might have pushed it too far. Then my digestion goes, then my sleep goes. So body composition wise, I'm heavy. I'm heavy for me. But I look good. I look the best I ever have done at this weight, which is what I'm mostly looking for, because you would hope that I've built some substantial tissue. I am really, really focusing on making sure that I am really in tune with my body. So I know that this last week of training, I'm giving it my all. Coach did say, I do think we should take this week as the week that's coming up. And I said, no, let me give it my all for this last week, and then you can pull me out, and then we can devolume, deload. It has been a while, to be fair. I think I worked out 3.5 months of intensity training, but you need to remember something. I broke my foot. I was patiently waiting for my cycle to return. My cycle now is very regular, which I'm very blessed for, and I feel much better with that. It's something that as a woman, we really do need to discuss, that when you do go through the extremities of prep, dieting, sub 10% body fat, there is a risk that you could hormonally be disrupted. And I think as a woman, it's really important to make sure you take that into account, because we're not many men. So for me, I will be documenting my growth era. That's what I named this series. Growth era for me doesn't just resemble growth in the gym, but it's spiritually, emotionally, physically, all encompassing. I want to be the best version of myself possible. And that's something that I feel like documenting and sharing my journey is something that I'm hoping can inspire others to do. I always used to be that background person, right? That watched YouTube and never thought I'd have the confidence to do it. But now I feel like sharing my journey is something that I really do want to inspire and encourage others to do. I always felt like I was a nobody, and if I can share my journey and the way that I've built or building my physique, I don't feel like I'll ever be done. For myself, I know that I love training legs, but learning from last off season to this off season, last off season I did 4 leg days. This off season I'm doing 3, and arguably I'm more taxed. I get to a point on Wednesday, I train Monday lower, Tuesday upper, Wednesday lower, Thursday rest, Friday lower, Saturday upper. I get to this point of the leg press. So I've done 3 exercises on Wednesday, and I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? And I do this every single week. And there I can completely understand why my coach says to me, it will probably be much better for you to train 4 days. I'm not there yet, but I can feel myself getting there, if that makes sense, because my body is tired. And I can't explain it unless you've trained to this intensity, but I am literally giving it my all. There is nothing I'm leaving in the tank, nailing my steps, water, cardio, posing, you name it, all the variables that I can. And I know that I am a taller person. I am a longer person. I am predominantly all leg. So I know I have a lot of room to fill. There used to be a part of me that used to be worried about the scale weight, or used to be worried about me gaining weight, but that's not me now, because I know that if you need to see differences in your physique and you do want to gain more muscle or change the way that your physique looks, which is absolutely doable for anyone that puts their mind to, you have to make sure that you can be slightly uncomfortable for a little while. to be able to see those changes. So I hope I didn't ramble on for too long. I hope this gives you the update that you wanted to hear. If you do have any questions, please drop them in the comments down below. Drop me an Instagram DM. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and make sure you give this video a like and a subscribe, because I am putting out content once a week on YouTube. I feel like once a week sits better than twice a week. And if there are any questions, I hope to see you down in the comments below. But I will see you next time.